So my question to you is, what do you want to learn about the home buying process? Is there anything you want to learn? Anything specific?
I need from the very beginning.
Got you. Okay. And that's what I'm going to do today. All right. So today's agenda, we're going to cover the fears of buying, the realities of our market, a couple of steps from the beginning to the end, the financing, and then the next steps. All right. So most of my clients, when they come to me, they finally break out of their fears. They'll contact me beforehand and say, Kennisha, I'm thinking about buying a home, but this, but that. And they have all these concerns. I'll say that they'll have these concerns, and I'll talk to them a couple of months, couple of years, what have you. And then finally, when they're actually ready, then they'll break through their fear and move forward with the process. But a lot of folks fear that they can't afford a home right now for whatever reason. They may say, oh, my credit's bad. Who told you that? Who told you you couldn't afford a house? Who told you your credit was that bad that you couldn't get a house? Did a lender tell you that? Most of the time, no. The lender doesn't tell you. It's something that you make up in your brain, and then you just already count yourself out before you even start. So, and then some folks say, should I wait until the market gets better? The market has been up and down, up and down, up and down since we've all been alive. So there's not necessarily a right time to buy a house. It's when you're ready to actually purchase a house. And that's when the right time is. I don't have enough money for my down payment. And I say, listen, with all of the programs that these states and the federal government has for first-time home buyers or just home buyers, period, down payment should be a concern or something to say, oh, I can't move forward because I don't have my down payment. There's so many programs out there. New Jersey used to give out $10,000 for first-time home buyers. Now they upped it to $15,000 for first-time home buyers, and they give it all to you. Okay, if there's money left over, you get a check. That's just what it is. And then I can't afford to buy my dream home. I haven't worked with many clients that were able to buy their dream home from the start. They had to start somewhere, and then they progressed to get to where they wanted to be. But as far as starting off with their dream home, that mansion, no, not yet. But at least you just got to start. You got to start somewhere. All right, so let's talk about these interest rates. So we're in a recession, and inflation is crazy. All right, and the interest rates have gone up to combat that inflation. Now, as we know, especially in 2009, the inflation went up, and then the market burst, blah, blah, blah. Interest rates actually came down. Right now, we're in the midst of them being slightly high, 6.5 to 8.5%. That's around the average right now. So why would you buy? The interest rates? If the interest rates ever come down, you can always refinance. As long as you keep your credit together, you can always refinance. It is a long-term investment. You'll be able to build equity. Thank you. You'll be able to build equity. Now, depending on how you spend it, it can be tax-free. If you take a loan out, it's tax-free. But if you do like a cash out refi, because that's still a loan. That will still be a loan. So you should still be good. It grows. And once you pay down the debt, that equity just continues to grow, and grow. And that's more money that you can, borrow from with your initial investment of, let's say, $250,000. Now your house is worth $486,000. So you're in a good place. And you can take that equity and purchase another property or an investment property, whichever the case. And, 3, your pride in ownership. There's no one telling you, hey, you can't have a 60-pound dog, or you can't paint the kitchen, or you can't change different things. There's nobody telling you that, because your home is your home. You have no oversight, except the government, but that's about it. So the difference between owning and renting: owning, you purchase a $250,000 house, you pay the mortgage, and your mortgage is $1,200 a month, and you pay that for 30 years. Over those 30 years, you've paid just about a little over $435,000. Now, at the end of those 30 years, you actually own the property. That's something you can pass down from generation to generation. This is something that you will put in your will or you will put in your trust. Renting, after all these years, you've paid out $432,000 and you own nothing. There's nothing to pass down to generation from generation to generation. There's no generational wealth in renting. Nothing. All right. And so these are the steps that we're going to go through. Hiring an agent, getting pre-approved, finding a home, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So this is me basically as your agent. I would just educate you on the market. I will educate you on the process, the entire process from start to finish, and continue to inform you as we proceed through the process. Definitely negotiate on your behalf. I would be your representative to make sure that you are fully represented in front of the agent, in front of the seller's agent and the seller. And if there are any issues that arise in between the process, I'll be the one to help you mitigate that. Oh, they coming. Oh, I should have brought my speakers. I forgot.
More than the end of April. To make this happen, you'll need to close or take ownership of your new home sometime in April. Assuming a 45-day close, be under contract to purchase in late February or early March. Begin looking at houses in January. Get pre-approved for your mortgage with a lender so you know how much you can afford in December. Prepare your finances in November and begin working with me within that same month. From hiring me as your agent to getting the keys to your new home.
That's not me.
5 to 6 months.
That's not me.
So who's ready to get started today?
All right. So that was just like an estimate. That's not really how everything goes as planned. If things were to go as planned, it would be something like that, if not sooner. So let's talk about the financing. So your pre-approval, you would go to a lender, you would get a pre-approval. A pre-approval is just a letter from your lender saying that they ran your credit. They did a hard inquiry on your credit. They collected some documents and they realized that based on those documents, your credit profile, this is what you're allowed, or this is your maximum allowable loan limit. All right. Pre-qualification is just something that you say out of your mouth. Oh, I do 130,000 a year. That could be a lie. I've been working at my job for 17 years when it's only 5. And then, you do it through a computer. It's just something hearsay, and they just give you something, just a little something, a piece of paper that really doesn't mean too much because there's nothing to verify the information. So the stronger document is that pre-approval, because the seller knows, the seller's agent know, and I know that you have gone through the process and you are committed to moving forward with the process. That's 1. And 2, it shows that here is your limit, here's your loan limit, and we can work at the minimum. If you're approved for 700,000 and you'd only want to do 250,000, I am totally cool with that. It's all about your comfort level, nothing else. I had a client, she was actually approved for $750,000. And she was like, Kennisha, she was like, this is a lot. I was like, I know. I was like, but where's your comfort limit? I was like, because we don't have to go up there. We don't have to be there. And she was like, oh, maybe 300. I was like, what if we do 250 to 300? Is that cool with you? And she was like, all right, she was like, that's cool. We were able to find her something in her price point, and she's cool. And she purchased it, and she's good. She's off the water and everything. It's really, really, really good deal. But I say to you is, just because the lender says that you can borrow $1 million does not mean that you have to spend all that. It's all about your comfort level, because you do not want to be house poor. That is stressful. That is very stressful. You want to be able to maintain a quality of life. and still have that comfort in knowing that you own your home and you can pass it down from generation to generation. All right, so choosing a lender, like I have a list of lenders. NewJersey.gov has a list of lenders, is where I actually got my lenders from. Choose your lenders. I'd say interview at least 3 lenders, and ask them as many questions as you need. If you don't understand the process, ask them what their process is. Ask them about their rates, their lender fees, their appraisal costs, everything. Ask them. And if you still don't understand, tell them, like literally, listen, I am not the financial guru. I need you to break it down to where I can understand it, period. What I also tell my clients is that these lenders compete for your business. Your interest rate is what they charge you to borrow the money. So with that being said, I always tell my clients, tell them you went down the street to Jacob and Jacob said he was going to give you an interest rate of 3.5%. I was like, go to whoever and tell them, can you beat 7.5% or 2.5%? And see, make them work. Make them work for your business. It's not something that they're not doing you a favor, because you're paying them for their service. So always keep that in mind. They work for you. It's a two-way street. They can say no, and you can always go to someone else. All right, so create a budget. And this is big. So you can just identify all your expenses, and then you're able to determine your comfort level. And in your budget, don't put your current rent in there, because that won't be something that you're going to have to carry on when you purchase a home. Make things simple. And in your budget, which some folks forget to do, is put themselves as an expense. Pay yourself. It's very important to pay yourself. Give yourself your 3% or 5%, whatever it is, but you are your own expense. I had a friend years ago who had to sit me down. She was like, Kennisha, you make money so you can spend it. It's yours. You can spend some on you, and it's okay. And I had to get to that realization, because I was just holding on. I was just holding on because I remember when I didn't have, and I just didn't want to ever go back to that. And she sat me down. She was like, you can spend some on you. It's okay. I was like, all right, you're right. You're right. So now the floodgates are open. I'm out. All right. But just make sure you put yourself in your expenses. You are an expense as well. Yes, sir.
So that percentage that you get stuff, is that after you do the budget? Or
no, that's in your budget.
You 3 was just.
Yeah, that's just random. Yeah. If you can do 10%, do 10%. I'm working on it. All right. So understanding mortgage. So there's basically 3 things that goes down with the mortgage. It's your down payment, basically how much the lender is going to require you to kind of come out of pocket with, basically to have skin in the game. The interest rate. Your interest rate depends on your credit, and it also depends on the lender, where they are at too. Everything's negotiable. Even though the lender says, "Oh, I'm going to give you a 5.5 interest rate," I ask them, "Listen, can you do better than that? Because that seems kind of high. My credit is pretty good, so I'm gonna need you to work on that. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go down the street to Jacob. Do you want my business or not?" I mean, talk to them, because everything is negotiable, and they may come off, yes, sir.
Yeah, so I had earlier, earlier this year, I went and I applied to buy a home, and I got approved.
Okay.
But the realtor was getting me home that was taken already.
Oh.
I mean, it was like, he wasn't aggressive. He didn't say, I told him what I was looking for, but he didn't really go out. He was waiting for me to, like, I'm buying my own home. It was like he didn't really say, well, I think this may fit for you.
Oh, okay.
And based on what you were approved for. But he didn't really he wasn't really that aggressive.
Gotcha.
And so I had to renew my lease at my apartment. And so now I'm going to wait until next summer. And then I'm going to try to reapply and get another approval for a home again.
Okay.
So, and then I think it's going to be a little better for me because I'm expecting to get a really boost in my self-employment income. I have a day job and
Gotcha.
I'm also self-employed.
Okay.
So I'm looking to put a larger sum down on the home.
Gotcha.
And I'm also thinking about paying off my car note just completely, so I won't have that. So
Yeah, well,
I'm thinking about doing that so I could I'm trying to buy more house.
yeah.
And I think I would rather buy a house than buy a condo. Because I figure, why pay $300,000 for a condo when you could buy a house?
Mm-hmm.
A single family house.
Condos have restrictions, just like
Yeah.
apartments. So.
Yeah. So,
Now, let me ask you this. For that agent, did you all, before you even went out, did you all sit down and talk about your needs and your wants? Did y'all have a consultation?
we did.
You did?
It's a friend. He's
Okay.
like an associate of my lady friend.
Okay.
And so we did have a conversation, but it was more like, I didn't have a problem with the guy that got me approved. He was really good. He was a really good finance person.
Gotcha.
He was really good. But it was that, the realtor, he seemed like he was just, I told him exactly, I gave him the details, I told him what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, he just showed me, he was with Keller Williams. And he just showed me, sent me like showed me what's in their system.
Got it.
And he really wasn't like saying, well, this may fit for you.
Okay.
And telling me what to look for, what to get.
Gotcha.
And then when I did pick something, it was like somebody already took it. Or I was out, he said, well, you may be outbidded for it because somebody did.
Yeah.
So,
especially depending on the area you're looking at.
Yeah.
It's still those bidding wars depending on the area. Now, just one last question. Did you all go over expectations of each other? Did you say, I expect this from you? And then he say,
I never said that to him.
Mm-hmm.
I never said what I expect from you. I never told him that. I just told him, I just wanted him to get an idea of what I'm looking for so he can get an understanding of what I'm looking for.
Got it.
And it just, it went on for like about 2 or 3 months. And then, well, let me just go on and renew my lease. And then I'll just.
Okay.
And next summer and just, and hopefully I would like to be able to invest more into the home.
Got it.
I'd like to put more down, and I'm expecting a larger increase in my business income.
Yeah.
So that will be able to enable me to invest more into the house.
Understood.
Yeah.
I guess not even, I know I said the other question was my last question, but this one is my last question. So for your own business, have you been in business for more than 2 years?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then good. So then you'll be able to use that as income.
Yeah.
And the lenders will count that towards your income. If it's less than 2 years, then they won't count it.
So I do income tax. So
okay.
So basically the boost of my income is going to be in 2024.
Okay.
So I believe I'm going to need like a financial statement, like a certified financial statement showing the boost in income so I can present to the lender.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to have to do that. I think that's,
Or you can do a P&L on you're an accountant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could just do a P&L because they will take that
I
too.
can do my own P&L,
Yeah.
but I believe some lenders, they want it to be certified. Well,
I mean, yeah, you can sign
depends.
it.
I guess it all depends on the lender, right?
Depends on the lender, yeah, because most of them, the ones that I've dealt with that took my business information, I just printed out my P&L, signed it, dated, gave it to them.
Okay. Yeah, I could do
that was it.
Yeah, I could do that.
And some lenders, they did want 2 years of tax returns for my business.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So they want that too. So yes.
I have a question. So when you ask him, did you have to sit down with them? Is that considered like wish list and what you really want?
Well, that's a part of the consultation as well. But I try to, I'm not a mind reader and I don't expect you to be a mind reader. So, just like any relationship, let's talk about our expectations. Do you expect me to call you every day? Do you expect me to text you? Do you want me to call you every week? How do you want me to interact with you? What type of communication do you want me to do? I have those conversations so we can maximize our time together so you can get to where you want to be faster. And so you won't be frustrated with me. Kennisha, you're not doing what I want you to do. Yeah.
Right was saying,
Mm-hmm.
God was just showing him what he wanted.
Yeah.
So that, as you say.
Yeah. But he wanted him to do a bit more on his end. So that's why I was asking, did y'all have that conversation? Right. Because some agents will just send you out the criteria, or properties that meet your criteria, and then they expect
they want you to pick the
look,
property,
yeah.
and it's like, are they really doing their due diligence, saying like, well, maybe this may be a fit for him. Let me call him and let him know about this before the house is actually sold.
Understood.
Because if you wait for me to select it, by the time I look through it and select it, the house may be, already sold. That's what happened to me. The house is already sold. Mm-hmm. So I mean,
yeah, it's just probably just communications from what I'm hearing is communication. That's it. Okay. And the decisions for your mortgage: 30 years, 15 years, 10 years, whatever you want. I suggest do 30 years and then pay it as if you have a 10-year or 15. Therefore, you're not stressed about, oh my gosh, I got this 15-year mortgage and I got to pay this amount of money, versus having a 30-year mortgage and you can pay it at your leisure as if it was a 15-year mortgage. You just have that comfort, just that there's nothing on your back, not stressing you out. So what's included in the mortgage? The principal, which is the money that you borrow; the interest, which is the money that is charged to you by the lender; the taxes based on the municipality or city that you live in; and homeowners insurance, which the lender requires you to purchase to cover any type of incidences that may happen to the home while you have the mortgage. So it's required while you have the mortgage.
Flood zone, they require you to get flood insurance.
Yep. And surprisingly, like the young lady that bought her house off the water, it didn't need flood insurance. Even though it was that close, it didn't need flood insurance. It wasn't in a flood zone because it didn't I guess the elevation was high enough where it didn't flood, which was interesting. So, but yeah, it just depends on the area. So your down payment is based on, it's a part of your pre-approval amount. Depending on your loan, your down payment could be 3% or 20%, depending on the type of loan. If you get a VA loan, if you're a veteran, there's no down payment, but there is a funding fee. However, you can put the funding fee in the loan. Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah. There's no down payment. However, there is a funding fee. That will be on the end. Yeah, that's on the end. I'll fast forward. At the end of this presentation, once you fill out the survey, it'll have a link at the end. You click on the link, it'll take you to the landing page where I actually have everything broken down to you, because I don't do a lot of paper. So it has everything broken down to you. It tells you everything about the VA, everything about USD, FHA, and conventional.
Yeah, now that's I'm glad you're getting into that, because with the FHA, it seems like you're kind of limited to a certain extent, because I picked a house and it was like the lender told me that it's FHA and it needed work. And the FHA wouldn't approve it if the house needs work. And I was telling my realtor, like, well, I could get one of the guys that I know contractors that can come in and do it for a low price. But he was like, they won't, FHA won't budge, they won't.
If you get a straight FHA loan, correct. But if you get a FHA 203K or 203B, Yeah, those are the ones that you can purchase the property and they'll give you the money to fix it up.
Okay.
However, you'll have to have a contractor already available, and then they'll have to do a scope of work along with every line item that they're going to fix. So it'll take a little bit more, but you can get it, but you would have to actually qualify or tell your lender you want that specific type of loan. Yeah. So if you're already looking at FHA, you can't just say, oh, I like this property over here. It needs work. Can I switch to FHA 203K? No, you got to go through the whole process again.
So that's what I'm thinking about doing is basically when June rolls around, I think I'm going to just try to reapply and get maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you could help me with that.
Sure.
I think I'm going to change the filter. Try to get conventional, because conventional is the best. Conventional financing is right.
Well, I'm not going to say it's the best.
Yeah.
I'm going to say there are less restrictions. Where FHA and VA and USD, they're backed by the government.
Mm-hmm.
So the government, they want to make sure their investment is going to return to them. So they're not going to tell you, oh yeah, you can pick this raggedy house and go ahead and fix it later. Everything has to work. Everything has to work.
Yeah.
Everything. Conventional, they're like, go ahead. Yeah. Like, go ahead. But in some cases, depending on the lender, because I did have one client, and she was conventional. The heater went out, and the seller and the buyer, they agreed that the seller would give my buyer credit. They would give the buyer credit, and they already agreed to that. We wrote it up in the contract. The lender said no. The seller needs to fix that heater before we fund the loan. Mm-hmm. So despite what we had in the contract, the lender trumped us because they're the ones with the money. And so the seller fixed the heater and we closed. But and she was conventional. So it just depends on the lender. And I've had some lenders let it go straight through. Just depends. So
So, bro, you serve?
Yeah, I was in there before.
Okay.
So,
I met you before a couple times.
yeah, so here's my thing. So, this is her show.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Funding fee. Yes, there is a funding fee.
Mm-hmm.
If your service connected.
Like if you were on
if you receive 10% or better, you could be at 0%. There's some individuals who are 0%. 0% is you're not receiving compensation, but you're still labeled in the government as being service connected, pending how we go into 10, 20, or whatever it is. When she said there's a funding fee, she's absolutely correct. But if you're service connected, there's no funding fee. Zero funding fee, and there's no down payment. As he was speaking of, VA is not going to let you get into a home where you can fix up. You can do. VA is basically that. And I appreciate them. They're looking more so. We're not going to cause hardship to the veteran. We want you to move in shape. We want you this. We want you that. And they want to send through. They want to give you the best of the best inspectors, the best of the best
appraisers.
Because, like she says, Uncle Sam, we're going to back up this veteran in the name of U.S. of A. So yeah, there's no funding fee if you said so.
And also, there are some folks, like I had one client, her husband was 100% disabled. So he got 100% of his stuff. And she was the survivor because he had passed away. So she still inherited his benefits. So she used his VA loan. So when she bought a house here in Jersey for $500,000, those taxes were 10. She paid no taxes. None. Now, for those folks who are not 100% disabled, they do give you a tax credit, $250, but it's still a tax credit. So it's something. And so where does your down payment come from? Your side jobs, your savings, a gift, or down payment assistance programs. And there are several of those in Jersey and in PA. Maintain your pre-approval, no big purchases. So don't go out buy a car, furniture, or anything crazy. Don't do anything new to your credit. You can pay it down, but don't add to it and don't open any more new credit cards. Don't change jobs because now you're messing with your job history, and just protect your down payment. Just don't go
That's the
spending.
thing. I did get I don't have many credit cards, but I
No.
did get one credit card since my approval.
Mm-hmm.
After my
Oh, that's fine then.
credit card.
That's fine. Because you said you're not going to do anything until
I'm not
June.
gonna do anything until the summer.
Yeah.
Because I want to try to save up as much money as possible to put a significant amount down on the mortgage.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And the more you, depending on the type of mortgage you get, let's say you do conventional. So if you put down, let's say 20%, then you don't have to pay PMI, which is private mortgage insurance.
Mhm.
So private mortgage insurance is the insurance that the lender basically takes out on you. In the event you don't pay the mortgage, they still get their money. However, they make you pay for the insurance.
It is very high, and
Yeah.
also they don't really give you coverages that a full homeowner,
Mhm.
a private, a voluntary market homeowner's insurance policy would give you.
Yeah, it's
So you
crazy.
would get much more if you get it on your own than they're giving it to you. Because they don't give you that.
Yeah, and it only covers them. It doesn't benefit you.
Yeah.
You get no benefit from it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, nice. I'm going to add that.
You hear that, bro?
Private mortgage insurance. So that's something that the lender charges you. That's insurance that the lender takes out on you while you have the loan, to cover in the event that you default on a loan. Now, after you've paid down 20% of the loan, you can go to the lender because they're not going to call you. You go to the lender and you tell them that you want to either refinance or just get the PMI taken off of your loan, and they can do that. Heck yeah, that's you're saving about $300 to $500 a month. But go ahead. You want to fill in that? Oh, okay.
It's just show.
Oh, no.
Military
Yeah,
aspect,
please.
That's what my cousin was actually
Mhm.
in 2 years.
Mhm.
She said, "Cuz I got you, but you're a veteran. I would suggest you get with someone all the ins and outs. I don't want you to miss any
Perks. Yep.
And I got the house. And there's one thing she told me.
Mhm.
And as far as living in Willingboro,
Oh, the insurance.
the insurance.
Yeah. That
She said,
sewer.
I wish I told you.
You had to replace it. $5,000. Oh, it was more?
But she just said, she said, you
Okay.
know,
But you saved a lot.
She said, I let you
Mhm.
go ahead and do that.
Mhm.
I let you go ahead. She said it.
Mhm.
I would love your business. I want you to get all the perks you can. When I mentioned the PMI and all that to her, she was like, oh, no, you. And she said, I don't want to have, you know.
Yeah. I got you.
So she was right. That's fine.
Yeah.
Anytime you get a VA,
Mhm.
get a VA loan, always get all the perks you can. Like with this young lady here, she's going to point. You know what? You want this person as you want that person.
Mhm.
All credits coming back to her. Still want to get all your perks. Everything. If you don't have a claimant, as you said, at 250, still get that.
Mhm.
Even in the state taxes, 1,500, 1,000 or 1,500 for your state taxes. Or it's just so many different perks. Like you can literally walk in there. You have 15,000 in your savings, ready for this. You can go through this whole process. You still got 15,000.
Yep.
Comes to the veterans. Blessing.
Mhm.
You just gotta know each and every perk you can get. Every perk. Veteran, like I said, they're not going to give you a loan. They're not going to give you a loan. Spouse had, there's already some homes where wheelchair adapted in-laws and the parents going to have the stuff for the realtor.
Mm-hmm.
Just have the right realtor right here who's going to point you in the right direction of all these directions. Taking your hand in a couple of months with your keys and
You good. That's like my cousin. He used his VA loan and bought a triplex in Philly. Triplex. So now he has the rental income, and it's in Temple. It's Temple University, so it's just coming in. So he's good, and so he didn't have to put any money out of pocket. It was just that was it. He used his VA loan to get him that. Yep. So that's a lot of perks. So finding your home. So this is where we talk about your needs and wants. So we talk about your must-haves. Like Kennisha, I must have 3 bedrooms. I must have a garage. It must have a backyard. So I will always look for those things. Then you may say, well, I want, even though I don't have to have, but I want a fireplace. Okay, we can look for a fireplace. First of all, I'm going to look for everything and make sure everything's there. But if I can't, I'm going to communicate with you and tell you, okay, well, I'm not finding this, but this is what I'm finding. What are your thoughts? So we're going to have that type of communication. One, because we're going to look on purpose. Time is life, and I don't want to waste your life looking at things that you don't want to look at. And I have things to do as well. So we're going to look on purpose and make sure our time spent together is efficient, and we're looking at the things that are in your price point. Not that we pass like $1 million property and just because we pass it, talk about, Kennisha, let's stop by here and look in there. No, I don't got time for that. Let's go. All right. And then, if your need ever changes throughout the process, then that's when we'll, again, have a discussion, and then we'll make some modifications to the search and go back out. That's it. That's it. So now let's say we find some properties. We're out there looking, we're looking. So you're in the property, you're looking around. Oh, a nice kitchen, nice this. Meanwhile, I'm looking to see if there are any cracks, if there are any leaks, looking at the foundation, looking at that water heater, looking at the HVAC. I'm turning on faucets, flushing toilets. I'm making sure things are working. And then I draw your attention to certain things. If you actually like the property, I just say, hey, when you get your home inspection, make sure they look at this, this, and this. That's it. Because I want to make sure that at the end of the day, you don't have any surprises. You're comfortable with what you're purchasing, and you are aware of everything that comes with that house. New construction. So we see, especially in Burlington County, there's so many of these contractors just finding every little nook and cranny space, just putting something there. And it doesn't, I would say this, yes, sir.
Ryan Homes,
Oh.
they're really big in Camden County, Gloucester County. They're just doing a lot of building. They approached me. I was like, well, I'm going to just try to deal with my realtor, because they said if I go through them, I have to do the financing, and the realtor wouldn't be able to get a commission on my realtor, so I just left it alone. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, they make it sound so sweet too. But at the end of the day, like I have my one client, he did do a new construction, and I went with him. They gave me my commission because I talked to them. And that's what I have to do. I got to talk to them, because if I bring my client to them, then we'll work it out. My client is off doing his thing, but we're going to work it out because I'm bringing you business.
Yeah.
But the only thing with new construction is that nobody ever lived in the house. So you'll have to do your research on these particular contractors or construction folks to make sure that they don't have any pending lawsuits, to make sure that what they're building is actually good, livable. Are people suing them because of the foundation, being uneven and it's settling and it's wonky or whatever? Just be mindful of those things. Although it's new construction, and I have nothing against it, but just be mindful. Do your due diligence to make sure that The company you're purchasing from had built quality, and then they built it like my client. They tried to put one outlet. It was a nice wall next to the fireplace, and they tried to put three outlets in these just weird places. And he was like, no, 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 no. He was like, take that out. I need you to do it here, here, and here. So with them, you have to be on them, like you as the buyer. You have to be on them and tell them where you want things to be put. Otherwise, they'll just put them random places, and it don't make no sense.
Yeah, I know Ryan Holmes is really building fast. I mean, it's like they're just trying to get to sell as many houses as possible, and they're building. I'm not sure if the construction is really quality construction. It looks nice from the outside when you drive by it, but I'm not sure if it's really quality construction.
Yeah, majority of the time they use builder grade material. So, you're not getting the high end material. You're just getting basic builder grade, cheaper. I'm not going to say cheap, but cheaper. So they build it at low cost, sell it at high, and they make a nice profit in the middle. So that's their objective. So just always keep that in mind. That's all. Yes, ma'am.
So we are looking at
Okay.
area, and I noticed that a lot of houses are like, I guess they were old houses, and like they redid everything. It looks nice, but it's like how trustworthy is that considered?
No, to the lender, it won't be a new construction because they still have the same framing. Majority of them have the same framing. They may add an addition. And full disclosure, me and my husband, we do flipping as well. We do some in Willingboro. What I would say, because we did everything down to the studs and build it back up. There was one property that we did have to replace the sewage line. In Willingboro, especially with the older homes, they're all old. You're going to be just do a scope of the line. The seller should be doing that anyway. And if you get one in Willingboro, ask for that report for their scope. It's like $500 that they have to pay. Especially in Willingboro, because those lines collapse. You got to call Roto-Rooter, and Roto-Rooter, they're ready to take your money and don't do nothing. Scope of their septic line. So basically, they put a camera down the line to see if it's clogged or any type of blockage, and then either or to see what type of condition it's in. And these are old homes, so the conditions are not very good. Yep.
Willingboro, if I'm not mistaken, 1907 is when the home and who designed it. Charles Levitt. He was using some pipes which only have 50-year shelf life. Any homes, 7 occurring, those pipes are gradually breaking down. I was on the unfortunate side, and down the street, I was wondering when I moved there. Right at the front yard, behind me, there's so many homes with this piping. So she said, Roto-Rooter's going to come and charge me
a lot,
$800 just to cut a wall in the bathroom and scope it down. $500 should have been done an inspection.
But even though, now say the seller, do the scoping, done, but then once you have to scope again. But you want to keep your eye on it?
At your convenience, but I would say, everybody told me, you're moving to Willingboro, get this done. I never got the letter in the mail about getting the septic insurance. If I'm lying, I'm flying. As soon as I had to pay them $12,000, let's see about it. So you want this insurance? I said, yeah. So I love the area. Kids love it. I love the area. Just you guys will just.
Sewage. It's just septic. Yeah, that's it. No. Well, it's made out of clay. It's like clay something, whatever.
Right after the water. The cheaper way, but it was also he designed this area is 50-year shelf life. Well, some made it 50,
Some are still going because I do have a property. I do have a property in Millbrook. And my tenants, they'll call me every now and again. They've been there for 3 years. And they've called me once about the sewer line. And I just had to, I didn't call Rotor. I called, it wasn't Fontaine's, JFK Plumbing, and had them clean out the line. So far, so good. So it's a gamble. It's a gamble. But at least Willingboro, the township, is doing something about it because they are aware. So they're making the sellers do the scope of the line, and if there needs to be a repair, they're putting that onus on the seller. So as the buyer, when you go to purchase, you don't have to be hit with that cost. So, and that's something new they just started. So, okay. So making an offer. So offer consists of your offer price, your terms, like, when do you want to close, and how much you want to put down. And then the contingencies is basically your out. So you may say, my out is going to be during the home inspection, during the wood, the termite inspection, or any type of inspection. You would just put that in the offer. And basically, offer is just one-sided. It's just you telling, hey, seller, this is what I want to buy your property for. I'm interested, and here's my offer. And then you'll put in there, you have 3 or 2 days to let me know if you accept it, reject it, or counter it. I use 3 days. Yeah. And then we just move on. Or depending on if my clients want it, then I'm really nagging the agent.
But I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Before you get into the discussion with this. So when Fred was telling you something about he just gave up, he won't wait till. Is there a time frame once you got the pre-approval? Because I was told 90 days.
Yeah.
Which almost kind of gave me the let me hurry to make my decision. Is it really 90 or is it something they was trying to do?
Oh no, they were telling you right. So some lenders, so once you get your pre-approval, some lenders will say this is good for 30 days. Some lenders will say this is good for 60 days. And some lenders will say this pre-approval is good for 90 days. So it depends on the lender. So after those 90 days, you can get another pre-approval. However, they will say, I'm gonna have to run your credit again. So that's it. That's the time frame we would be running against. Yeah. Your lender. So it could be a financial institution. I'll say that, financial institution. It could be a bank. It could be a financial services company. It could be a independent lender that is connected to some pocket of money over here somewhere. So it could be a licensed individual, a licensed loan officer, mortgage broker, loan officer. Nope. You could just use that just to get into the door, and then you can still shop around. Especially that's when you say, okay, look, this is what Jacob gave me. Can you beat what Jacob did? And some of them will play ball, and some of them won't. So.
Advice, anything you do. Anything.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm listen. I purchased almost 2 years, and my daughter's trying to tell her some things. I'm here to get some more.
Okay.
Listen, anything happens, someone say, "Oh, the rate we promised you was going to go up." Don't worry about it. Get on the phone. Don't let anything.
So when you get approval from a lender, right? Are you saying that I could go to another lender without, need to do additional docs with that lender, or?
Yeah, so basically to get a pre-approval, you give the first lender all your information. They do your credit profile based on what they see, because another lender may see something different. But based on what they see, they're like, okay, we're going to give you $350,000 with a 4% interest rate. All right, cool. So here's the pre-approval letter. So you take that while you're looking for houses, right? So now when you finally find a house that you like, you're like, I may be able to do better than this 4%. I think I could probably get 3.5%. Let me see. So now you go to other lenders and say, hey, Jacob gave me 4%. Here's my credit profile. Do you see something different? Can you beat his interest rate? Or you go to the next one. I say go to 3.
But when you
yes.
do that, does it hinder your like credit score?
No.
Like you keep running it like that?
I got you. So with the New Jersey financial, I think I put it on my website. You have 45 days from the time that you have your credit initially run by a financial institution to have it continually run by other financial institutions. It will look like the same inquiry on your credit report. So it would not. And I'll have to, if I don't have it on my website, I will send
So you
you.
have 45 days?
You should have 30 to 45 days. But I think I don't have my phone. It's in financialwebsite.gov, finance.gov, something like that. Finance.gov. I'll give you the website because that's where I get my information. If the government says that's what it is, then that's what we're going to do. Now, maybe it may be lying, but this is what they're sending out to the masses. So about 30 to 45 days. And I'm almost done. So we're on step 5. So now we got inspections and repairs. So you'll have, you may say, oh, I wish they changed the paint, wish they changed the carpet. Those are small things. Those are cosmetic things. But if we're talking about the plumbing, the electric, the mold, the roof, those are big things. And those are the things that we're going to send back to the seller to have them fix it. Give us a credit if the lender allows. Or we just say, this is too much. We're walking away, whatever. But we're going to look at those big things. Now, I've had some some buyers that just wanted to send everything. I want to send everything. I'm like, not everything, but just like the major things. So, see, and then your clothes and your homeowner. So I do want you to take a picture of this. So these are your out-of-pocket costs, your earnest money, which is going to be 1%. Your home inspection is going to be $300 to $575. However, if you do a termite radon, that's extra, so you're almost close to $1,000 with that, especially depending on the home inspector you get. The appraisal fee, that is something that you have to pay up front, and that comes from your lender, and it's non-negotiable, unfortunately. But you can definitely talk to your lender and just ask them those questions up front. What's your appraisal fee? Will I get that back at the end? Some lenders will give you the appraisal fee back if you continue to work with them, and some of them won't. Your home insurance, your homeowner's insurance, you do have to pay that up front, a year's worth up front, which may cost you $800 to $1,100 in New Jersey. In PA is lower. This is what closing costs mean. Closing costs is your down payment, which is 3 to 20%, your taxes, and they'll put that in escrow. They're gonna, they meaning your lender's gonna call for your taxes, your future taxes for a couple months up front, and that'll be put in escrow. Your title insurance and their services, it can range from $1,200 to $1,500. Your lender fees, and that's why I say talk to your lender and ask them what their fees are. It can range from $1,200 to $1,500. Your homeowner's insurance, again, this is the escrowed monthly portion of your homeowner's insurance for next year, for the following year. If you decide to get an attorney, those are the costs that I've seen with my clients. And if you do a condo or HOA, they have associated fees as well. All right. So your out-of-pocket costs, those are your costs that you actually need to physically have, your funds that you need to have up front. The closing costs, that's going to happen on the back end. That's going to be in the wash in your closing disclosure. Basically, your closing disclosure is basically an itemized list of all of your expenses and your credits that you're going to have to, once everything's washed, you're going to have to come to the table with. All right. Yes.
So if we're gonna do VA,
Mm-hmm.
the down payment.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't apply. Yeah, that's just for conventional FHA.
You said on your website, all this.
Yes. Yep. And then at closing, you just bring your funds if you need to bring funds and your ID. And then you'll get your keys and you'll get your clear title. Title is your ownership of the property and your settlement statement. Basically, your receipt that you paid for the house. That's it.
Do your push-ups the night before. There's a whole lot of signs.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then lastly, protect your investment. You can get some warranties. You can even ask the seller to offer you some warranties. And I do suggest with all my clients that they get a personal mortgage insurance. My company, we actually do personal mortgage insurance. Basically, that's something that covers you in the event that you or your spouse are unable to pay the mortgage. This insurance kicks in and protects you. So you won't be stressing like, oh my gosh, how are we going to pay these bills? How are we going to make these payments? The mortgage insurance kicks in, pays the bills for you. It has nothing to do with the lender. It protects you. Maintain and just keep the house clean and watch for everything. If there are any signs of leaks, small things become big things. So before that happens, just get the small things done and just keep the receipts of your repairs. They should diminish over the years, I guess. And any questions or comments?
one comment.
Yes, sir.
Everyone who's about to get their house, the inspection the inspection, it says plus, that means you're adding the radar and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You got it. Get it. Get that. I have somebody, a buddy of mine, purchased a home and termites.
Oh.
Yeah. On the hook. The inspection he got was a inspection.
Oh no.
He bought a house in Trenton, they can get it for cheap.
Mm-hmm.
He can't rent it out because the inspectors, it's funny how the inspectors see.
Mm-hmm.
They say, you can't rent this, you gotta do X, Y, and Z. But the inspectors approved when he bought it in his name. Terrible. So yeah, if you got it, just, I myself, I would put it to the side, someone told me, that's the necessary.
Yeah.
Radon and termite, it's amazing how small a bug can do so much damage, especially to your foundation.
Yep. And I had a client, they did the termite inspection and the seller paid for that because it was in the contract for the seller to pay for that. And then for the radon inspection, there was one client, she was purchasing a house. There was radon in the basement. Usually you'll find radon in basements, but not all basements, but in basements. In this case, the seller had to fix it. If they wanted to get their money and be done with the transaction, the seller had to fix it, and they did. So getting those inspections, although they may be costly, but it gives you a peace of mind so you'll know what you're getting and you know that cost is not going to be on you later on. That's all. So this is the quick survey. You take the survey, press submit. It gives you the link to the website where I have the information that I promised. It also has the booklet of this presentation. So even if you have it in your phone, it's all good, but it has the booklet, has some checklists up there and some more contact information. And that's it. Yes, sir.
Just one question.
Yes, sir.
I know it was part of your slides. Can you just expound a little bit on contingencies, what that means and why that's important when shopping
Okay.
for a home?
All right. So for contingencies for the buyer, so those are put in place where you basically have it out. So for in New Jersey, we have the attorney review period where if after within 3 days, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't think I want to go through with this house, you can get out of the contract. I literally just write a letter to the agent to give to the seller and you're done. You're out of the contract. So that's the attorney review period. Then you have your inspection period. Your inspection period in New Jersey is about 14 days. So that is your time. So within those 14 days, that's when you get the report, when you get the inspection, you get the report from your inspector and you deliver it to the seller or to me, and I deliver it to the seller. If in that time that the seller says, you know, I will fix the problem, then you can go ahead with the purchase. If you find material things within the inspection report and you're just like this house has too many things going on with it, or property has too many things going on with it, you have the option then as well to get out of the contract and get your earnest money back. All right. During that inspection period, the seller can say, you know what, I will fix everything. Or the seller may say, I'll give you credit. I'll give you some credit. Now, be mindful with the credit because your lender will, depending on the type of loan that you have, you can only have a maximum credit of like 3% or 3.5%, whatever, depending on the type of loans you get. Or the seller may say, you know what, I'm not fixing anything for whatever reason. Some of them are weird. And they say, I'm not fixing anything. In that case, all right, cool. You're not fixing nothing. I'm not buying it and we're out. And you still get your money back. Now, will you get your money back for the inspection? No. Will you get your earnest money back? Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. And you probably remember, a situation that, my wife and I had.
Oh, yes.
Where, we have put in a contingency and the seller had agreed to make some repairs in the house. But the contingency was that it had to be to our liking.
Yeah.
And so he sent some people to do a little flimsy work. Well, make a long story short, we weren't happy with the work and we decided that we no longer wanted the house because he wasn't willing to correct some of the things that we saw that we did not like. So he tried to sue us. And so we had to go through a whole process. We're stressed trying to figure out all these different things. We had to get an attorney, because not only was he suing us to try to keep our deposit, but he was trying to go for more than that. And so we went to court, went to mediate. He didn't want to mediate. He wanted to go straight to trial. And so it was an all-day thing. But thank God, because of the contingency, he was not able to sue us and we were able to get our deposit back. So when you're doing your contracts and things, make sure that whatever your conditions are, that they're in there, they're precise, clear. This is the things that I want fixed, so it don't come back to haunt you later on.
And then come to find out that agent was janky anyway.
That's right.
Very janky. Well, that agent particular was the agent and like the seller too, because I think he had a group, right, or something like that.
That's right.
So
he had a history of going around Willingboro homes and taking advantage of people. We did a little research and we found out that this is sort of his MO. He's gotten away a lot of times with getting and screwing people over that. So make sure those contingencies are in there.
But the contingencies are made by
the buyer.
The buyer with the real estate.
Yeah, and you have that in the contract, spelled out, written out to the T, to the letter. Yep. Yeah.
I can't stress it enough. Like literally, when he's trying to keep their money or something like that, he had a little personal text. Or with that text to your realtor, like that's what they went to school for.
That's right.
Don't mess with it because the house I got, I was blessed. Leaving the house in West Hampton, I was beat out. I got At noon, put this in. It was just so much mess.
Mm.
Stressed out. I called Davis. Called in the area. I still living in Trenton. I'm in the area now. I got beat out again. Come on, bro. We're gonna have a whatever. Sorry, bro. I turned. Look at the guy. There's a guy taking a sign for sale back into the garage. This house for sale? He said, yeah. So most people would say, call your realtor. He said, who you working with? And I told him, he said, let's take a walk if you don't mind. He took me to the whole house. Then I contacted my realtor. He even told me he had an offer close to where he's, where he put on the market for. So basically, if you come a little bit higher than that, I was like, okay. I got that.
Hey.
But yeah, when I did call my realtor, I said, might be too good to be true. He said, what's the point? I said, right here. Put him on speaker. He said, tomorrow at 12. My realtor said, yeah, that worked. And did the second walk through. So it's all about this call your realtor. I mean, it may sound like something that dropped in your lap. You're so lucky. Call your realtor. But that same guy who walked around that house, the owner, could have been quicker. Like, we heard to sell this. I'm trying to get rid of a house with a bad roof. Or with a bad this or with a bad that. Call your realtor. The realtor's going to say, hey, that's nice you did that. We talked to you away from him. Them shingles up there. Yeah. Call your realtor. Yeah, I appreciate it. My daughter's trying. She's
Okay.
been at her job now for the last 2 years. I have answers for you, but I can't give you.
Gotcha.
Only thing she can get off of me is she can use USAA for her.
Okay. Gotcha.
I paid the girl, I can't. Got my own work.
Yes, ma'am.
In some websites that I look at, like Zillow.
Yeah.
I'll see something like
Buyers, what? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I say err on the side of caution with Zillow simply because anybody can post on Zillow. Yeah, anybody. Like I had a couple listings. I had one in Trenton and I had one in Philly. Somebody decided to put it on Zillow and Craigslist and try to scam people. Yes.
But they have different prices. I'm like, why different prices?
Because they're scammers.
Different, like, mortgage.
Yeah. Hello.
Or I'm like, why is it one
price? Scammers. And I had this one lady, she actually called me up. She was like, is this such and such? And I was like, yeah. I was like, but she was like, oh, it's on Craigslist for $900. They telling us to send them $300 or $500. I was like, don't do that. I was like, that's a whole scam. And she was like, she was like, oh, you might need to report that. I was like, I am. And it happened to me twice. Realtor.com. Realtor.com.
Okay, because I'm thinking, I'm like, well, two different, same house, two different websites.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Zillow just because anybody can post on there. But Realtor.com, you actually have to be a realtor to post on there.
So their stuff is more accurate. You know,
Yep. It comes straight from our multi-listing system, MLS, and it goes straight to Realtor.com. And it pushes out to about 300 more sites, but Realtor.com basically mirrors what we have. Yep.
What about seller concession?
Seller's
If
concession.
you want the seller, because I hear that it's like if you want the seller to make too many concessions for you, it could hinder you from getting
the property.
Getting the property.
So seller's concession, that's like asking the seller for some money.
Yeah.
Depending on the market and depending on the property, if you know there's multiple people coming in with offers for that same property, I would say don't ask them for nothing. But if that particular property or that particular area is not popping like that, then yeah, you can ask them, yo, can you put 5,000 on that? Let me get a credit of 10,000, something like that. You just see what they say. The worst they could say is no. But for a pop-in area, I would suggest not. Yes.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you go about getting the grant?
Oh, go through your lender.
Go through the-
Yep. Yep. And I know I didn't put it on the website, but I have a list of approved lenders for New Jersey. And I did put the web addresses for New Jersey, for HUD and PA on that website as well, with all the information for the programs.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the house that I said I left in West End, two.
Mm-hmm.
One I was beat out on. One I was actually going under contract.
Mm.
Here's the thing. You can tell me what could have happened. I was just so frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
I put in my offer. Somebody put their offer in. So my offer one,
Okay.
contacted my realtor. Put the paperwork after we signed.
Mm.
Never signed the paperwork. Someone came higher
Mm.
after the noon deadline
Mm-hmm.
with a higher amount. So because I never signed anything,
Mm-hmm.
that's why. So
Yep.
what is that called?
That's call you got beat.
Just
That's it. That's it. There's nothing
But I don't think I got beat. If someone came
after with the higher offer.
8,000 over,
Mm-hmm.
and I went 10,000 over,
Mm-hmm.
and the bid it stops at noon, he
Supposed to.
came. There you go. That's why I'm
Supposed to.
asking you, because this was around 1 or 2 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
That I called my builder. He
Mhm.
called me. Right, you got it.
Yeah.
2 hours later, when
Mhm.
the paperwork started, I go. I'm like,
Mhm.
I got this.
Yeah. Yeah.
An hour later, someone came higher.
Yep.
I knew it was way past 2 o'clock.
Sometimes it depends
But
on the
because you never
seller.
signed,
Yep.
that was-
Because you didn't sign anything, and it depends on the seller. Where is that seller's heart at? Is it on that money? Yep. Is it on that money, or
But it was-
are they
it was-
really want to
it
do
was a
things?
It was a cash offer. So
Yeah.
it was a company.
Yep.
Somebody came. I can't.
No.
It was me.
Mhm.
So here's the thing. So if I did sign,
Mhm.
I promise everybody.
Mhm.
And then he pulled that. Then what's my?
Nothing, because the seller would have to sign as well. If you just had your signature on that contract
Mhm.
and they haven't signed it yet, then there's no contract. There's no agreement.
It wasn't it.
Yeah. That happened to one of my clients, same scenario. She put in an offer, the agent called me. She was like, yeah, Kennisha, you have the strongest offer. I was like, cool. And then, I don't know, she called me back or she texted me, whatever. She was like, yeah, cash offer came in full and a little something. I was like, where are people getting this money from?
It was a company.
Yeah. But these were actually folks like walking around.
Question with regards to your mortgage.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, when I bought my first house,
Mm-hmm.
87, 86, I got a 9.5%.
Mm-hmm.
It was an arm, so I was moving around. What's your thought on
Well, eventually they're going to have to come down.
it? It's ridiculous right now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They've been as high as 18%, but that was back in the 80s though. But, with inflation, they're just trying to, I don't know what the heck they're trying to do.
But they shot up over 4% in the last 7 months.
Yeah, because they've raised it. The Feds raised it at least 3 times since last year.
Yeah.
Or was it last year? Either way, they raised it at least 3 times. I don't foresee it going up anymore. I hope not. But eventually they're going to have to come down because it's not going to stay up there.
These houses are still selling.
Oh yes, because folks, with the interest rates high, you can still purchase a house. All right, cool. Once it comes back down, you can refinance. So then you still good. You bought.
Are lenders willing to refinance?
Heck yeah, as long as you have the credit. Yes, as long as you have the credit. As long as your credit is good. Yep.
And am I correct on this one? Refinancing means you want to 5 to 7 years.
Huh?
Would that mean that you should stay in your house for 5 to 7 years after refinancing? Get something out of it.
I mean, it depends on, you don't have to. It depends on what you want to do. What's your goal? If you refinance, what's the benefit? You know, is it going to be a monetary benefit? Are you just doing it just to get things off your back? Or if you're doing things to refinance, pull some money out to do something else, it just depends. Just depends. Yeah. No, it depends. It really depends. Like I had this one lady, she sold her house. She was selling her house in Georgia and purchasing here in Jersey. Older, I'll say seasoned woman. Her boyfriend was up here, seasoned man. And they decided on purchasing a house together. Now, her name was the only name that was on the title, which is great. However, she counted on him and Duo or FaceTime to show her the property while she was in Georgia. She gets up here. First of all, she paid 30 grand over. And I told her, I kept trying to tell her, like, don't do that. Don't do that. Whatever. But she did it anyway. She came up here. She didn't like the house. Yep. The next year, she called me, Kennisha, sell my house. I sold it for her. I got her 30 grand back because she bought it in a really good area. She only lived in the bedroom. She didn't do anything else. So it was still immaculate. And I got her some of her, she wanted her travel costs, her whatever, the relocation. She paid 10 grand. I got her some of that. I was like, I can't get you everything. I'll get you some, but like, work with me. She tried to work with me. She did it. But so I got her 30 grand and then some of the relocation. And the blessing was she actually got that back, you know, and she was in there for less, let's say 12 months. Huh? She, because they broke up. Yeah. Yeah.
Because he paid something on the wrong house.
Mm. Yes.
So would you recommend buying a home, a single family home first, and then building equity instead of getting the rental, or vice versa?
Y'all
And
married?
Also a condo or a townhouse.
So I would say, here's what I would say. I would say get a rental, a multifamily first, right? Because all you have to do is stay in it for 1 year. That's it. And it doesn't matter. Get a four, get a quadruplex. Maximize your everything and get it on FHA so you're only putting down 3.5%. Woo! Then after a year, you can refinance, take some of the equity. You don't even have to take all of the equity. Take some of it out. Put a down payment on if you want to do single family now. Now you could do single family. Now you got the rental income coming in that's paying this and probably either all of that or some of it. And then you're good.
I thought you were asking me a question.
Oh, that's what you did?
You want a single family home ultimately.
Okay. Okay.
But then first, and I feel like most
Multifamily.
hard to come by these days.
Mm.
So we're looking at townhouses too.
Mhm.
I think it's more so like the area,
Or
like a multi-family.
it depends. Like, let's say this. So my cousin, I told you my cousin has a multifamily in Philly on Diamond Street near Temple University. And there's a bunch of them, like a whole row of multifamily on that street. There was another multifamily me and my husband were going to get, and that's in West Philly. But it needs a lot of work. So you can get some multifamilies that are move-in ready, but you're going to pay the cost for that. But you're VA, so you're still good. Or you can do the FHA 203K and get the fixer upper, not pay that much on the front end, fix it up and live in it for that 1 year and then move on. So it depends on the area, yes, where they are. But then you just have to pick out which area you want to be in, and then we could do a search. That's all. Yes, sir.
That was going to be one of my questions in terms of the area. Do you know of any up and coming or developing areas that we should consider in purchasing a home?
A single family or a multi?
Either one.
Doesn't matter. West Philly, West Philly is popping. University City is crazy right now. Where else? North Philly too. Yeah. Fishtown.
And that goes back to when we talk about sweat equity. You want to put that sweat equity in and save on the front end. Willing to put in that work in that dwelling, the household, multi-family. Put in that sweat equity. Just easier now. You're younger. Put it in. You got the time to put it in. It's easier to do it. That's what I did. It's just that sweat equity into your long-term future.
Yeah.
What areas do you serve?
I service New Jersey, Pennsylvania.
The whole state.
Yeah, so the whole state of New Jersey, because I have a team member. She focuses on like from Trenton and up, because I do Trenton as well, or Mercer County, but she does Mercer County and up, and then we have one dude that services like the New York area. For me in PA, I'm the only one in this group that does PA. So I do Bucks County, Philadelphia, Chester. That's as far as I go. Depending on the price. Man, go a little further. Yeah. So it just depends.
A lot of grants are going to get properties.
Well, FHA, they just changed some of their guidelines where now you don't have to put down 20% for an investment property. They're doing it's down to either 5% or 3%, whichever percent, but it's not that 20% that you have to put down for an investment property. So just with that, and that not being your primary residence using FHA, that's a win. Yeah, because most places they want 20%. If you do a what do you call them? Hard money lenders, those dudes want 25% down and lenders fees and all other crap. It's a lot. So yes. And he's good. He's right now.
One of my clients he's an investor. He owns a lot of different properties, rental properties, and he always said you got to get good tenants.
Yes.
He had an experience with a Section 8 tenant.
Really?
When they left, they just left the place a mess. So he does some of his properties in Section 8, but a lot of his properties are
even with just people off the street, they're scumbags. It's just people are just weird, especially when it's not their own.
I thought pretty good because the government pays that. You're getting that money.
You get the money.
So I've been told that you're getting that money on time. And again, like you said, you put holes in the walls and stuff like that. But
that's why you got to interview them. Even though it's with Section 8, you still interview those folks. And y'all talk about what's going to happen. And you can tell them, like, listen, put it in your lease that I will be over here every quarter, or I will be over here once a month to inspect my property, period. If they can't follow the lease conditions, then it's a no-go.
Now, from what I hear, that Section 8 will, if they destroy the property or whatever, Section 8 will penalize them or something like that. Like, from what I hear, like, for the next property that they try to get into, it may make it a little difficult for them.
They may, but it depends on their caseworker. Yep.
References.
Yep.
When I rent it, I always ask for a reference from their previous landlord. That's a key because if you ask them that and they give that to you, that's good. You got to back that up, fill out the information, feel it out. You got to be open enough to say if it's real or not.
Yep.
But if they give it to you, it's good. If they don't, no.
Yep. Any other questions? I done held y'all hostage. I apologize. Okay. All right. Cool beans.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Can we give our presenter a hand? Thank you so much. I hope we all learned a lot and took something away that will help us along the way in our journey. Whether we are looking for a home for the first time or just looking to maybe invest in real estate, that's something would be really, really helpful. Kennisha has her QR code for survey. Also, there's a survey for you to complete for us as well.
You're welcome.
So please complete that before you leave out. We'll appreciate that.
Okay. So
All right.
what I'm handing out is just something just to get you thinking about either creating your living will or creating a trust. Because my company, we do trusts. We do revocable trusts. That includes living wills, POAs, and all that other stuff that goes along with that. So, especially if you're getting property, it's important that you have something in writing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for those who are interested, Kennisha is offering free consultation. So if you're interested in getting more information, I have a sign-up sheet here on the table. You can just write your name and your email to make sure she gets that, or you can go straight to her, up to you. But that's available for you as well.
For both. Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, we also have an upcoming event. That's going to be November 18th on credit repair. So if you or you know somebody who's interested in trying to find a way in how to build your credit up, you want to be at that workshop also. That's going to be at the Willingboro Library, which is a Saturday, November 18th from 1 to 3. Please let your friends and family know who might be interested in figuring out how to correct their credit report, build it up so that you can utilize and benefit from a lot of those things, right? Kennisha talked about, in the process of purchasing a home, one of the things they're going to look for is your credit. So you want to make sure your credit is in order. If you're looking to start a business, even life insurance, they actually look at your credit score sometimes, to determine whether or not they qualify you for certain types of life insurance. So very important topic. So please consider that. I have a flyer on the table for anyone who's interested with the QR code. I only have one flyer, so just use your QR code to scan it, and they'll give you all the information that you need for that as well. Okay.
All right. I just want to thank y'all for coming out. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Y'all have a blessed one.
That's right. Before we leave out, I just want to close out in prayer just real quickly. Okay. Father God, we thank you right now for once again this wonderful day that you have allowed us to see. We thank you for all that our eyes have seen and ears have heard. We pray that we will take this information that you allowed us to receive and use it to a benefit and for your glory. We ask that you will give us traveling mercy as we leave this place, but never your presence. Give us traveling mercy and protection. Continue to keep us in your will and perfect peace. And we'll be careful and mindful to give your name the praise, honor, and glory. For us in your name we pray. Amen. Amen. Please help yourself to any coffee, any case that you want to take with you, some bottled water. Please feel free to help yourself.
I'm going to get some. I bought some. Carry
Thank
yourself
you.
out. Your sprain and everything.
Yeah, that is my
Well, you
strain.
break down.
All right. I appreciate it. And thank you again for